This one's coming from Best of Writer Updates. My girlfriend is threatening to break up with me over a prank that I pulled on her and her family.
Another prank. We should have named this episode Pranks.
Pranks are us.
Pranks are... I like it.
Gotcha.
Wait, we should do an episode like that.
Should I move this story to the next episode
No.
for pranks?
No.
Okay. This past weekend was a big camping trip that my girlfriend, 23 female, would be taking with her and her family. It would consist of her, her parents, her younger sister, her aunt, uncle, and her 3 cousins, and it was a big family trip that was planned for cooler weather. My girlfriend told me, 24 male, all about where they would be camping, and I decided to take advantage of that knowledge. I visited my girlfriend's house to say goodbye to her, wished her a fun trip, and when they all took off in their cars, I got in my car and I drove to the campsite that they would be staying at. I know the area pretty well, and I was able to find a spot to hide my car from view and was able to navigate the woods and keep an eye on them while remaining hidden from view. When it came to nighttime, I put on a Chewbacca costume and ruffled it up a little to make it like wild and untamed. While the family was gathering around the campfire, I started to rustle the bushes. The family noticed, but they didn't think much of it. Then I started to make growling noises. The family was getting noticeably freaked out, and then my girlfriend's uncle started to walk towards where I was hiding. As soon as he got close enough, I jumped out from behind the bushes and started making roaring noises while running around acting like Bigfoot. I shook their tents, threw lawn chairs around, and chased after some of the cousins. I heard my girlfriend's dad yell, "Get the gun!" And that's when I knew I had to end the prank. I took off the costume, revealed myself, and the entire family was pissed. Long story short, I got yelled at by almost all of her family, and the noise attracted the campsite manager, who kicked me out after hearing what happened. Today, I heard back from my girlfriend for the first time since the prank, and she said that she's seriously considering breaking up with me. She just said that she needs some time to think about it and that she'll let me know when she's made her decision. Now, I'm just left wondering what to do. I'm thinking I need to pull off a major apology and need some advice on what to say to save this relationship.
Damn. Okay, my first thought was, you're going to get shot.
Right? That was my first thought too. I'm like, wait, is this American campers or Canadian campers? Canadian campers, you'll be okay, but someone in America is going to have a gun for safety.
In Canada, you'll get sprayed with bear mace.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right?
At least. But, like, still, it's risky to do something like this.
Yep.
You're going to get hurt. Like, you could have.
Good prank or bad prank?
You know, I actually don't hate this one. I feel like it is kind of a harmless.
On the surface, I don't hate it as well. Like, it depends on who you're pulling the prank to, but it's kind of funny. Maybe not.
Maybe if it was, like, with her friends.
Right? I was going to say,
family.
maybe if it wasn't family.
Yeah.
Or like friends, or like if this was a guy's weekend, I feel like one person pulling a prank on like a guy's weekend camping trip, I could definitely see this prank being well received by a group of drunk guys. You know your audience. Yeah. Family members, young kids, maybe not the best.
It also is kind of weird that he like wasn't invited to this thing. It's not like he was there and he snuck off and then put the suit on. He wasn't invited and he showed up and like followed them. Like, what if they were like talking about him? You know what I mean? Like, what if they were talking about like family secrets or something and he like...
But what if they're like, they had like a cult tradition where they were sacrificing someone on their camping trip and he witnessed it?
What the
That's
heck?
a plot for a movie. But like what you were saying though, if he was like invited to it and then he's like, oh no, I can't come, and then pulled the prank. And I was like, oh, guys, it's just me showing up, surprising you. Like, I said I couldn't come as, like, a prank, but, like, he was invited. Or even he was invited and he's like, oh, I've got something to do, but I'll come up at a later date. Like, they were expecting him at some point. And then when he shows up in the Chewbacca outfit, scares everybody. And it's like, oh, no, don't worry, guys, I'm here. I could see that being a kind of well-received prank a bit. Like, if you're joining and they know you're coming at some point, and then you show up a little bit early and you give them a little Chewbacca scare. I could be on board with that.
We are kind of reaching with this opinion because they didn't say anything about...
He could have been invited.
About them not liking it because he was there. But I feel like that would be what could be concerning for me. But the prank itself,
I could get on board with this. I could see myself doing this.
I could see myself also getting upset. Like, if you did it to my family and my family was pissed, I would be pissed too.
Yeah.
Like,
I could see myself doing this if I was expected to show up at some point and I just showed up a little bit early and I pulled this prank. I don't think I could see myself doing this of tailgating them, driving them up there and completely like not even supposed to be there at any relevance of I wouldn't do that myself. But if someone pitched the idea of like, hey, we're going on a camping trip, somebody said you should do the Chewbacca prank, I could see myself strapping a Chewbacca costume on and doing this to either your family or my family or a group of friends. Like, remember when we went to the cottage with our friends? I could potentially see myself doing it.
Yeah.
So I don't absolutely hate this prank.
Yeah, me too.
There's some updates for you. This gets interesting.
Okay.
First update. I'm honestly really embarrassed and humiliated about this update.
Oh.
I almost considered not even posting it, but I feel the need to vent and express my frustrations in some way. So here it is. I really hope you don't think too badly of me and you understand what I'm going through after last night.
I'm sad.
What?
I'm sad.
You're sad? You're sad? What? Is that a new term? Is that a TikTok term? Is that like I'm not very demure term? Is that what that was?
It's like, I'm ready. Give it to me. Give me the tea. I'm
Oh,
sad.
I'm sad. I'm in place. I'm ready for it. Like, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a new term. 2025 term?
Yes.
Okay.
Like end of 2024.
Okay. Where did I leave off?
Sorry. Last night.
Last night, my girlfriend's family was holding a barbecue in their backyard, and my girlfriend was able to talk her dad into inviting me. He was originally against the idea of me coming, but he was willing to let me come so long as the first thing I do is offer a genuine apology for the prank that I pulled on all of them. I arrived in their backyard, and everybody that I pranked at the campsite was sitting at a table, and they were all clearly waiting for me to arrive. I sat down next to my girlfriend and began to apologize. I stated that my prank was ill-timed, immature, and thoughtless, and I apologized for ruining their camping trip that they had apparently been planning for some time. I tried to make it as genuine and sincere as possible, and when I was done, I waited for some type of response. There was a really long, awkward silence as the whole family just stared at me. Then the uncle whispered something in the dad's ear, and they both burst out laughing. I couldn't quite make out what he said. Then Dad said that he didn't accept my apology and that he told me to leave. My initial response was a very loud, "What the fuck?" And that made things worse. My girlfriend's dad kept telling me to leave and I lost my temper. I swiped an empty plastic cup off the table and said to the family, "Fine, fuck all of you," while flipping them off with both middle fingers. As I was leaving the backyard, my girlfriend caught up to me and said that she was breaking up with me. She said I was too immature and impulsive, and she said that she just wants me to leave her and her family alone. I tried apologizing to her profusely. I kept saying, "Babe, I'm sorry. Just give me another chance and I promise I'll be good. I promise." I kept saying this over and over, but she said she's given me a million chances and she can't fix me. She then walked off and I did something that made things even worse. I yelled at her, calling her a bitch, and then I started kicking and punching their wooden fence that separates their front and backyard. I knocked down part of the fence and then I left. All of that happened last night and now I feel like shit. Part of me wants to just give up on her and move on, but I also want to prove to her that I'm capable of changing. I want to promise her no more pranks along with trying to control my temper. What do you think I should do?
Leave them alone. What the heck? What do you mean? What do you think I should do? Leave them alone.
So obviously when he says, I tried to make the apology as sincere as possible, you obviously didn't do a very good job because the family is sitting there and after your apology, they're looking at you and they're just like, that was not a sincere apology at all. It sounds like, dude, they were willing to forgive you.
Yeah.
And you just screwed the pooch and fucked it up.
Yeah. I think he has anger issues, truly.
I think he does. I mean, who says fine, fuck all of you, and then gives them both middle fingers when they didn't accept your apology?
And then calls the girlfriend a bitch in front of her family.
Bro, you're done.
How do you think you can come back from that?
There is no coming back. You are absolutely dead in the water. Just bury yourself. Second update. Long story short, I got in a fight with my girlfriend and her family last night. Now she's my ex-girlfriend, and I lashed out and broke down part of their wooden fence that separates their front and backyard. Her father hasn't contacted me about it, but I'm worried he's going to come after me eventually. What kind of trouble can I get in? Oh, I don't know. Maybe charged with destruction?
Yeah. Yeah,
or
definitely
something.
have to pay.
Third update. I'd rather not go into the details on this post, but the reason for the breakup is on my profile and can be read in there. Whatever. Simply put, I can't stop thinking about my ex-girlfriend. I can barely eat, sleep, or do anything that used to make me happy. Last night, I watched my first ever hockey game and was excited about that a few months ago, but I don't even care now. I spent the whole game thinking about my ex and how she broke up with me. She's all I think about right now, and I feel like putting in one last effort into making her see that I'm a better man. What should I say to her? What can I do to get her to come back to me?
I hope all the comments are like, dude, just leave her alone.
Maybe some people would give him advice on what they think he should do, and then maybe he's actually going to do it.
I feel like if you... this can't be the first time that you had an outburst like this. If you are that short-tempered,
right,
that you like blow up like that, I feel it can't be the first time. So I'm assuming like you've probably like quote unquote like learned your lesson in the past about like how your words have consequences and your actions have consequences, and now you're experiencing those consequences. Like you can't just take back what you've done. You have to think about what you say and do and realize that there are consequences.
You stepped on the toothpaste tube. Now the toothpaste all over the ground.
Yep. No putting it back in.
Nope. Fourth update. For those who may or may not know, my girlfriend broke up with me because I pranked her and her family by dressing up as Bigfoot and ruining their camping trip. But I think that since some time has passed, my girlfriend might be of a cooler head, and I was thinking of trying to win her back with a clever little way that involves the Bigfoot theme.
Oh my God.
My idea is to dress up as Bigfoot again, but not to scare anyone. I'm going to dress up, go into her backyard with an old stereo/CD player that still works, and play Sorry by Buck Cherry. I'll play it loud enough for her to hear, and I'm hoping she'll accept it and see it as a cute apology. I know it sounds a little cliche, the whole stereo outside the window thing, but I'm hoping that the Bigfoot costume might be a new little twist on it, and it'll be my way of apologizing for the Bigfoot pranks.
Okay.
What do you guys think?
Okay. I think you have no sense of social awareness. I think you don't.
What if the people on Reddit are like just
egging him on?
Just giving him the bad advice. And he's
setting him up for failure.
He's just not seeing it. And you know what? There's always like people who become stalkers, and you're like, bro, what went on in your mindset that you thought
like
this was a good idea?
We are in his mind now.
I feel like we are along for that ride. We are witnessing it. Fifth update. After reading through some of the responses from yesterday, I decided to go for it and get it over with. I dressed up in the ruffled up Chewbacca costume, grabbed the stereo, and walked over to my girlfriend's house at nighttime. We live in the same neighborhood, and there's a shortcut through a little stretch of woods that I take from my place to hers, and that's the route that I took last night. I climbed in their backyard, and I stood in their grass, holding up the stereo while playing the song that I had intended, Sorry by Buck Cherry. The problem is that the stereo was an old piece of shit that I dug up from my basement, and the volume wasn't loud at all. It sounded muffled, and I didn't want to risk moving closer to their house in case I was seen. But I wanted something to come from the night, so I set down the stereo and peered into the window that I knew led to my girlfriend's room. My girlfriend was just playing with her phone on her bed, and I just stared into her room for a little while. I guess I was caught up in the staring at her since I hadn't seen her for a few weeks and didn't realize that I had been staring in there for a long time. I turned to leave, but I saw one of our neighbors out on their porch, looking directly at me, and they were on their phone. My first thought that they were probably calling the police, and I panicked. I did something really stupid and tried to go into my girlfriend's house by pulling at their back green door. But her mom saw me trying to get in, and she screamed. I then ran back towards the woods, and I tried to pick up the stereo, but I really hurt my back while bending over, so I just left it behind in their backyard. The back pain was also shooting down my left leg, and I had to limp away from the house, and I limped through the woods back to my house and was also cussing at myself over how fucked up my plan was. The worst part is that this morning my girlfriend called me and left a message on my phone. She said that she knows it was me at her house and that she's only giving me one final warning before she talks to police about harassment charges, as well as a restraining order. She says that she's, quote, never getting back together with me, and she told me to move on. Now I'm really depressed, which is how I've been feeling in the past few weeks. I'm physically hurting from my back and leg pain and emotionally hurting from my girlfriend's words. I'm just really upset and pissed off. What should I do?
Oh my God. She's not your girlfriend anymore. You have to say ex-girlfriend.
He says girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh my.
No, this is crazy. I think he needs help mentally, honestly. I'm actually kind of sad for him. Like, I think he, like, honestly has something wrong mentally.
6 update. My ex-girlfriend left me a message on my phone threatening me with a restraining order. It's just a threat at this point, but I still want to know what happens to my record if she were to file one against me. Will it give me a criminal record and officially list me as a stalker? Is it something that appears in a background check? I just want to know how this will affect me from things like getting a job or something like that. Would this affect me nationally or just in my hometown of Denver, Colorado?
Denver.
That's an interesting question. If somebody gets a restraining order against you, like, does that mean that you aren't officially charged because you have the restraining order against you? Does that show up in a background check? I feel like that should.
I feel like
if someone gets a restraining order against you, and that should, but at the same time, like, what if they got a false restraining order against you?
Well, how would it get approved?
That's true too, right? You have to have evidence to get a restraining order approved. Yeah, I know nothing about that. All right, 7th update. I won't go into detail, but I left my stereo of mine at my ex-girlfriend's house, and this morning I got a text from her dad. It was a picture of the completely destroyed stereo next to a baseball bat, and the message read, "That's your head if you ever come near my house again."
Oh?
I want to know if I can actually take action against him for this. He destroyed my stereo and threatened to bash in my head with a baseball bat. What actions can I take? This is all taking place in Denver, Colorado.
Okay, buddy, what is your end goal? What is your end goal here? Like, now you're going to take action against your ex-girlfriend's father for, like, threats? Okay, if you do that, you're never getting her back. Like, do you think that you can still get her back after doing that?
So this guy is posting in like different forms, and the Best of Redder update has like pulled all of his posts together. So like that last one, like he posted that as a separate on legal advice.
Oh my God.
And the ones before that have been like on relationship advice and such.
Oh my God.
Oh man. All right. 8th update. I've spent the past few weeks thinking about how I can possibly get back together with my ex-girlfriend. I've decided to just move on.
Oh.
She doesn't ever want to get back with me and has caused me enough trouble with her family as a whole. I need to get over her and I don't know how. My older brother has a wedding in a few days, and it being a romantic occasion is really going to mess with me emotionally, especially since me and my ex were planning on attending together. It hurt even more to see that my ex was selling her dress and posted about it on Facebook.
Okay.
I can't get over the memories and all the time we spent together, and it hurts knowing that I lost her because of my immaturity and stupidity. How do I get over her? She's literally the only thing on my mind, and it has to end. Help me out, please.
Seek a therapist.
Download Tinder.
Although
I don't recommend him
No.
associating with any other
please
people.
Don't.
Go on a retreat on an island, a Buddha's retreat, or do one of those things.
Like no technology.
No presence of anybody else. Just go by yourself. Go on your solo.
Zen.
Go on a solo Zen camping trip, and go like no technology, no nothing for 2 weeks. Go catch your own fish and separate from society for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 9th update. I know that most people have seen my previous posts on here regarding me and the issues with my ex-girlfriend and her father. He's already threatened me violently, and as of last night, he's called the cops on me, and now I'm awaiting a court date here in Denver, Colorado. Last night was obviously Halloween, and while I normally don't trick or treat at my age, I ended up taking my little cousin out around the neighborhood while my parents and hers were at a Halloween party. I also figured that I would wear my Chewbacca costume since I wanted to dress up and didn't have any other last minute costumes. We walked around the neighborhood for a while and we ended up on the same block as my ex girlfriend's
Oh,
house.
what a coinkydink.
I knew it was only an inevitability that we would cross her house, but I honestly wasn't worried about it. I figured that her dad may not even be out to see us, and all I'm doing is trick or treating. We ended up walking by her house, and of course, both of her parents were sitting by their garage with bowls of candy to hand out. I tried to grab my cousin and make for the opposite direction, but it was too late. I heard my ex's dad yell, "I see you," and he's clearly recognized me. I just grabbed my cousin and we made our way back to my house without looking back at my ex's house. We got home and almost an hour later, the cops arrived and they told me that my ex's dad wants to press charges on me for stalking and harassment. I'm currently awaiting a court order and I think that this is all bullshit. I didn't have any premeditated plans to go near their house, nor did I have any intent with their property. I was simply trick-or-treating with my cousin and we just happened to come across her house. The dad simply acts as if he's the king of the block and he can dictate who walks in the area. What can I do to prepare for my court date? What arguments can I make? I wasn't stalking the house last night and I wasn't planning on doing anything. I simply walked by while trick-or-treating and the dad threw a fit. What can I do?
Okay, buddy, you could have avoided it. You didn't do anything to avoid it.
Yeah.
Like, even if it wasn't your intention for them to see you, you still went on the same block. Like, in your Chewbacca costume, of all things.
Of all things.
Like, it's like you had a giant target, like, saying, "Look at me, I'm back."
I will say that in itself, he technically did nothing wrong, but you are an idiot because you have caused previous problems with this outfit. And is your neighborhood so small that you had to walk your cousins down that street?
That's what I mean.
You should have avoided it for yourself. But on a technical point, he did nothing wrong in this post situation. So what he needs to do now is get himself a good lawyer, because if he previously had the restraining order, he would be doing something wrong. But at this point, he doesn't have a restraining order against him. He's allowed to go trick-or-treating. You made a dumb point to go there. But as far as the cops go and everything, in this vacuum of the situation, just get yourself a good lawyer and they will say, Chewbacca, Halloween, doesn't affect previous problems, whatever. Just like if, like, I feel like this would be similar, like, if he was like going for a run and he happened to like run down their street, no Chewbacca costume, he's just going for a run that day. If he doesn't have a restraining order against him, technically is doing nothing wrong. Doesn't stop, runs right past their house, nothing technically wrong.
But why do you have to go down that street?
But just don't put yourself in that situation with your previous aggressions towards these people.
Yeah.
When you do have a restraining order against you, now you can no longer run down that street because you were going somewhere. But so yeah, you're just dumb. So get a lawyer. There's one final update.
Okay.
It's been a little over a month since my girlfriend broke up with me over a prank that was admittedly my fault.
Oh.
It was a dumb, immature move on my part, and I've accepted the consequences. That being said, I'm now in serious legal trouble over what happened a couple of nights ago on Halloween. I ended up walking by her house while taking my cousin trick-or-treating, and her dad saw me. He's now pressing charges for harassment and stalking, and I'm awaiting my court date. Last night, my ex texted me, and she was clearly drunk. A lot of her texts were either gibberish or in poor grammar, but I can make out what she was communicating. Basically, she was, quote, celebrating me having charges pressed against me, and she was texting stuff like, quote, "I hope you rot in jail," and, quote, "lock him up." I responded with text my own. I called her names like "see you next Tuesday" and "bitch," but she obviously didn't seem fazed. But simply sending her some mean text isn't enough for me. I honestly think that she has some nerve to kick me while I'm down, while all she has to do is just stay on the sidelines while daddy does all the work. I've spent all day thinking about how I can get back at her over this.
Oh my God.
Part of me thinks I should just wait until I'm done going to court, but I also want to strike back while the event is still fresh. I'm thinking of one final prank. What should I do?
I can't believe this.
This is when OP deleted his Reddit account, and we will never know if he showed up to this court date in the Bigfoot costume.
Damn it.
I will say, dude, you had a gift given to you for your legal issues, and you just screwed the pooch.
What do you mean?
They are trying to get a restraining order against him. And if he goes to court and he's like, look at the timestamps that I have from my ex-girlfriend communicating to me, and I didn't reply, and I told her to stop messaging me, and she kept harassing me. Am I really the stalker here for over my Halloween?
Why does she keep texting him? She's
dispute?
toxic too.
Right? So that's where I'm like, dude, when she started texting you out of nowhere, that was the gift given to you of like,
Yeah.
time to be calm, react to it in a certain way, and take that to your court, to give that to your lawyer. Absolutely fighting back. They wouldn't be able to get a restraining order. I don't know courts or anything, but I would think his lawyer would have a strong argument of, hey, my client was actually the last one who was harassed in this situation. But instead, he just fought back and called her names because he
has anger issues.
He's an immature idiot. So yeah, there's that.
Okay, but also like the girl texting him is just so like she loves the drama.
She likes the attention.
She loves the drama. Like
I think she likes the attention. I think if she actually heard his boombox in the backyard,
she would have fell for it.
She might have been swooned. Maybe we're over here thinking, nah, this dude's so wrong. This dude's so wrong. The way that she was texting him, hey, maybe she would have been like on board if she actually heard his radio. Maybe he would have been spot on, but his shitty stereo just didn't work.
This is crazy.
Top comment on the Redditor, Best of Redditor update. This is like reading a choose your own adventure book and purposely making the worst choices every possible chance you get. He just keeps making it worse.
So true. Oh my god.
Oh man.
That was a good one. I am concerned.
There's a cause of concern.
Yes. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, back to you.